It's starting now.
Awesome. Do you want to start by saying something official for the group?
Yes, welcome to the webinar this Thursday afternoon. I believe it's evening for you in Berlin, Thora. It is Discovering Agile Community, which we hold every the fourth Thursday of the month. It's good to have Thora join us from Berlin. And I'm going to hand it over to you to introduce yourself and the topic.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Awesome. Thanks to I'm happy to be here. Mamoun Morshed actually invited me and connected you with your community. This is actually something very, very specific that is only possible because of the pandemic. So we are connecting worldwide. We run meetups and trainings all over the world. And I'm going to present to you how I switched my trainings from on-site, hands-on on-site, with groups to all remote and all across the planet. So I have people from Saudi Arabia, Melbourne, from Qatar, India, and we have also visitors from India, as I see, and also Europe and the Americas, so all over. And this is awesome because it allowed me to actually access even more people, spread the goodness, and try something. And what I wanted to try is not just doing Scrum training and Kanban training and scaling, but also applying an innovation framework to pivot in a pandemic, to actually modify my product, change my strategy, and see if it works. So I was pivoting in the pandemic to try something new. And I did it not just once, I did it many times. And every time I did it, guess what? I iterated and innovated and tried something new to improve it every time. So that's what we'll see, how I use the Mobius loop, an infinite loop, which indicates that this could go on forever. It's a journey. And we're going to use a visual way of working also here by using a shared whiteboard for collaborating. So please open the Miro board that is shared in the chat. There's a password, which is also shown. And enter that, and I'll just see if everyone is joining.
What is the password, Laura?
It's shown in the chat. Can you see it?
Is it, it is all clap, all those emojis?
No.
That's what it's showing here for me.
I'll copy again. Let me do it again.
Yeah, it's still clap. Look at the chat box. It is emojis, password Canada. That didn't go through for me. Roger, what are you having?
Yeah, it's .Canada in quotes. I think that must be the password.
Okay, so now, yeah, so.
Oh, it's in the recording. I didn't want to speak about it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We're the security. I'm just kidding. This is doesn't
okay.
make.
It's still not working for me. I'm cutting it.
Modify anytime. Just joking. So does it work now? Can you access now?
I just entered
have a bit of fun. Yeah. So I have one person joining. Let's see if we have additional joiners.
Just joined.
No,
okay.
It is still I'm not having luck with it.
Okay, let me just
paste. Net is kind of slow here.
You can cut out this initial setup. Okay, let me paste the link again and the password again for those who are coming late. Okay, everything between the quotation marks is the password.
Right. Let's try again. Maybe it's copying everything because I'm cutting and pasting.
Yeah, just use what is between the quotation marks. And
yeah, it's too many attempts. Let's try.
Don't use PW
yeah.
sign, because this is a crypted form of password.
Yeah, it's good now. Thank
It's
you.
good now. I see you also now. Awesome. So if there's new joiners, maybe you can help me to just copy paste in the password again and the link, because new joiners will not see the previous chat. All right. Go. Let me introduce myself. I said already what I did, but I didn't introduce myself. So let's do that first. You see the board right now. So we'll talk about the Mobius loop. I will also do some screen sharing. So in case you want to see the same area that I'm seeing. And I've been doing lots of trainings as part of my Agile coaching work. I'm not just a trainer. I'm actually hands-on Agile coach, coaching in all levels of the network, which means in all areas of an enterprise. Some call it an enterprise coach. I just call myself an Agile coach. So executives, teams, product owners, Scrum Masters, and other Agile coaches. And training, as we know, is one of the coaching stances, but you have to be capable of switching this between mentoring, coaching, training, etc. And the training typically happens on site in training rooms. Have you attended the training before, an Agile training? Yes? You attended Agile trainings, awesome. And typically in the room, we do hands-on work, right? We, for example, build a Lego city with many teams. So one team is building the school, one team is building the police station, or a 1-level or 2-level house. And then teams iterate 7 minutes and then integrate into one big city. Playing with Lego building blocks. I don't know if you happened to use those before. Has anyone used Lego before? Yeah?
Yeah, I have used Lego.
Cool. So the interesting part here that sometimes is you see that teams are starting to build awesome buildings. They bring it to the city. They start integrating, but then the time box is over. So they haven't really integrated. The police station is actually not next to a road, right? It's just somewhere in the field. So the product owner will come in. I will ask one of the team members to actually play the product owner and take a cigar like this and saying, oh, I like this city. It's awesome. But the police station is just in the desert. Why it's not next to a street? So the teams learn after 7 minutes that there's real feedback from real stakeholders, or even a proxy like the chief product owner. And then they go back to the next iteration and learn and maybe start integrating earlier to make sure that the building is actually where it should be and that it's also the same size approximately of the neighboring building, etc. So they start learning this at scale. If you are in a pandemic and a remote situation, maybe it's not that easy to do distributed training with Lego, because building a 3D city with building blocks is not so simple. So what do we do instead? Well, we use whiteboards like these, collaborative tools. I actually chose Miro, and this is part of my presentation here, is why I chose Miro as a tool and how I conducted these experiments, iterating to become a remote trainer and improve on that. Not even that, also bring in the learners as participants in the experiment and asking them to help me create this new environment, okay? So co-creation, as we call it at IBM, where I worked until spring of last year. And I also use this training in companies like Siemens building autonomous trains. I use this training right now in Mercedes-Benz, where I work, automotive here in Berlin. So we still run the training all remote, and I still continue also public trainings. So this is what I will talk about. But let's just do a zoom in here. I will ask you to follow me now and bring everyone to me. Okay, do you see this loop structure? Yeah, the infinite loop. Who has used Scrum before? Anyone? Yeah. Roger also, have you used Scrum?
Not really.
Not really. Have you used Kanban as an agile way of working?
No. No. This is the first time I'm looking at this.
Oh, okay, good. It doesn't really matter. So It's actually even better because you're not actually influenced or biased by one of these agile frameworks. So what you see here is an infinite loop to design a new product and innovation, okay? So like going from on-site classes to remote classes with everyone. So what we do is we call this a toolkit to discover new needs and what you want to achieve as an outcome. Then you have a bunch of options, and then you deliver the first experiments and learn, and then you do it all over again. So you learn again and again. So that's what the infinite loop says. We start in the blue area to discover who are we building stuff for, like a learner, or maybe an agency that wants to sell my services, right? What are their needs? The learners want to learn in a pandemic, for example, even though they cannot go to an on-site class anymore. And what do I want to achieve? Maybe I want to continue to have a revenue stream. Maybe I want to do a training without booking a room, but having it online. And then I collect all the options, what I could do next. And then I start delivering the first trainings and try it out and learn from that and help have the learners, participants, help me improve the training. So we call this a cohort of learners. The first few people joining the training, this could be 15, 20 people joining a training, and then they all give feedback every hour, not every training, but every hour. They give feedback to me as a trainer, and we co-create the next best environment in the hour after that, okay? So it's a 2-day training typically. And then we go all over again with the next cohort of learners. A few weeks down the road, I will then adapt based on the learnings and improve the training even further. I will also ask the people to maybe brag on LinkedIn about how they achieved a certificate and they learned something, etc. So it's all built in that I get a rating as a trainer. I have some traffic on social media to sense if people liked it and if this actually made a difference, made an impact. So this is the Mobius loop structure, very simple. What's next? Then we thought about, could we make this more explicit of what the loop actually means for us, okay? So why are we doing things is the first part, the discovery. What are we doing are the options, and how are we doing it is the delivery, actually delivering the class in this case, and how to deliver it and improving it, okay? That's why I use those symbols. Why are we doing it? The compass, where does it guide us? Then making decisions, which tools to choose, which exercises to choose, etc., which options, and then how to build it, okay? The magic wand here is a symbol. You just make it happen. And it's many craft people building the training, not just the trainer. So I'm doing some preparation, I'm providing an environment, but we co-create a training experience. And at the end of this hour, I will show you how I did it and how I iterated. So all these Post-its are showing how I was going through these cohorts and the learnings iteration by iteration, cohort by cohort, okay? Make sense so far? Any questions?
Yes.
Cool. So let's go to, it's clear, good, I like it. So let's go through this nice drawing, which I did here, okay? Fully you can see now. Please pick a Post-it and what can you imagine? How can we find out? What can we use? What method, what toolkit can we use? Just pick an item, a Post-it. What can we use to find out who we build stuff for and why? So who's using our product and why do they need it? What can we do to find out? Okay, I give you one example. We can create a persona, a typical representation of such a user. And what we could also find out, do is understand why, maybe by doing design thinking. Okay, what other ways do you typically use You want to grab a Post-it and write down what you do to find out who has a need, what they need, and why they need this better product. Any thoughts? Please add something here. You can be generic, you know, also already think about this particular case of online training. Okay, so they wanted training to get new insights. Yeah. I'm adding who to the persona.
Something that is kind of needs a solution, so some kind of problem. So that's what we are going to address.
So they want,
right?
Yeah.
So
we're getting to the solution a little bit later, but now it's about understanding
what's
why
the need. What's the need? Yeah, what's
the need?
Exactly. It can be as simple as like having a solution for a school. For students, it could be just simple as something like to understand and to solve their homework. Could be like that.
It could be also for school pupils, but personal development, professional development, personal development. What you wrote is great. Gain new insights.
Go for because it's people are right now all by themselves, right? So we can go for have a personal physical training to keep themselves active because they're all sitting at house.
Exactly.
So
it could also be
like something like.
I will get back to that because I made it one of the principles when people are doing these remote trainings. I'll get back to that. I added a principle.
And go for physical fitness.
Exactly. Even though they're sitting in front of the screen, I asked them to also stay physically fit. And I tell you about
physical fitness.
Yeah, exactly. So this is many reasons to do it. Why? Let's go continue. Thank you so much. So what would you be able to do what could you do to understand the real motivation, discovering the real motivation behind it? Please now go to discover motivation. How can you find out what really drives them? What motivates people to do this training or do it remotely? How can you find out?
Everybody wants to be healthy. Nobody wants to be unhealthy.
Yeah.
Right? They want to be healthy and fit.
This is for fitness training. This is for fitness training. But I'm also thinking about knowledge. Okay. So training and processes. Training.
Most people don't know how to be fit when they are all by themselves. Well, in pandemic situation, they are forced to stay at home, right? So they don't know what to eat. So they don't know what is the diet. So I can also add here to know what's the correct diet. So that they don't eat the wrong kind of food.
And I could add about development practices. Okay.
Right.
They want to get better in development practices and they want to become more agile.
Yes.
Yeah. So sense of agile ways of working.
It affects psychology of a person, right? Because they're not able to see much of others. So you can also add that mentally fit, mentally healthy, something.
Exactly. We have one more person joining. Okay, so please now go also to the next one, which is target outcomes. How could we see if someone has achieved what they wanted to do? Based on your previous examples, how can we see that they achieved the target outcomes for them?
One thing I would say that they have a healthy weight. Probably weight and something with even their, if they have something to measure their blood pressure, probably that will also be there, and probably not sick, not being sick, always being active. I don't know, it's the correct word for it. Yeah, you can say that those things, something, and they don't know what is the right way to, what is the thing that they have to eat and what they should not eat. So,
yeah, exactly. And I would say they actually, for example, they learned about Scrum. Can you add also what you said to the Post-it? So they learned about Scrum and became a product owner, which is a role in Agile. Okay, maybe they even became a diet coach or a fitness trainer, whatever, or a fitness practitioner. Yeah, awesome. Good. So Kemi, do you want to add something here as well? Just chip in, join in anytime you like.
Sure, yes.
Yeah. So we are now creating target outcomes. What do we want to see if we achieved the outcome that we desired? Right? Target outcome. Healthy weight, that we become a diet coach, that we become a product owner, or learned about Scrum. Okay, generate ideas. How can we get there? So let's generate ideas. How can we bring this to our learners so they actually learn something? Any thoughts? Generating ideas. What could we do so they learn it? Whatever we want to teach. Okay, learning. Yep. I like it. Whoever joined, we had one person joining, but I think with a person left again. Seek feedback. Okay. Activities. Okay, let's go for the next. Seek feedback and incorporate. Good, is that it? Incorporate different. Anything you want to add? How can we achieve the learning? Generating some ideas. Ah. So you mean invent some calorie counting mechanism? Cool. Lots of good stuff. Let's go to the next exercise, which is deciding. How do we know if we have to go back to the left and find out more, or whether we can actually start experimenting, starting the first trainings? How can we decide? What do you think? I will also add something.
To know whether the method works, something, what is useful for them, and what could the statistics say.
Can you explain statistics versus personal experience?
I would say that there is always people will say that if you do this particular activity, activity for this many days, something will happen to your body, or this is the kind of food if you take for this much time, this will change this kind of weight will happen, something like that. But whether that method really works for a particular person or not will be only a personal experience.
Yes.
So if it works, yes, then they can continue. Otherwise, they have to change the method. So that's what it means: statistics versus personal
Awesome.
experience.
Yeah. I also wrote we can do a spike or some research whether we have enough options and can start experimenting, or maybe we need to invest more in what the users need, what people need. And we prioritize because we want to decide what to do first, right? What to experiment with first. One example is which whiteboarding tool should I use? Which video conferencing tool should I use? Should I use Zoom or WebEx, etc.? Okay, so this is some kind of prioritization I did in the very beginning based on different factors. I had WebEx accessible, Zoom I needed a license. So I started with the easy one. Refining needs, refining ideas, let's just skip it. Okay, so I'm going, just now I'm having trouble moving my cursor. Oh, it works again. So I'll bring you here. What could we do to deliver, design, create, launch something? How can we actually start experimenting? What do you think? Based on your previous example you chose?
Well, something that we'll see like
Yep. Proof of work. Yep. I wrote minimum viable product. We can deliver a minimum viable product. Like the first class I'm running. You get the idea.
Sure.
Kenny, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I can go for this also. Like personally, because when you're personally customizable product.
Oh.
Sometimes we tend to create a generic product in most cases, but in some cases it should be customizable to as per the needs of the person who's going to use it.
So we give it to them and they
User
actually,
customize,
they
let them do that.
customize it to their needs and we find out what they need. That's a good one. A sample class, exactly. So we run the first pilot class, sample class, maybe for free. Exactly. Or we do a webinar like this one. All right, so how can we measure the impact? What do you think? I gave some examples before, but maybe you want a sense now. How can we measure if we are successful with this first experiment?
Results, obviously. Only thing that will measure the impact is obvious thing is results. How good is the result is.
Also think about the outcomes you need to measure, right?
Yeah, that's what results.
Chomsky is entering. I will repeat the way to enter. We have Dempsey. Hello, welcome to join. You can join anytime. Please go for the Miro board with the password I showed in Slack, in chat. Okay, so you can see how many people sign up, how many come to the webinar. You can look at the effectiveness, like asking them what they learned or have them run a certification test, right? If they pass the exam or if they actually are more fit. Are they losing weight if it's a diet? Lots of things, right? Returning students, this is awesome, Kemi, exactly. Are they returning? Are they actually spreading the news to friends? So will you have more people and friends, etc., joining the next, etc.? Do trainer ratings go up? Good. Objective as achievement. Exactly. So what are the objectives? Learning objectives. You will not pass the exam if you haven't actually covered the learning objectives. I'm doing quizzes in the classes so people can test a little bit if they actually are close to achieving the learning objectives. All right. Learn, reflect, and improve. What do you do based on this learning? Let's say you ran this training and you learned something. The tool wasn't really good. You have to maybe...
We'll be upgrading it. You will upgrade.
Some of the exercises weren't that good. So every hour you got feedback, and some of the exercises the students didn't really like. What do you do? How do you learn, reflect? I'm also adding doing the regular, the 1 hour retrospective. Every hour, doing a 1 hour retrospective to learn. And then we personalize, yeah. I'm also adding update curriculum. So you get more options, more choice. Update and personalized as per user category, okay. So that you're customizing, configuring your tool, maybe. What about diet? How can you learn? If you're not losing weight, if you're not getting more fit, what could you do? Any idea based on your previous example? Domzi, if you want to join in, please join the board by using the chat information, the link and the password in chat. All right, and then you adapt. What do you do to adapt your training?
Just go to it.
I added a poster to the arrow going up to say, run the next cohort. And what did we add? What did we change before running the next cohort? I added define a new exercise, launch new improved version, exactly. And then our favorite, which is called item. All right. This is good enough. Get the idea? Cool.
The loop is kind of great.
Yeah. So we run through the loop.
Again, we can have it.
Exactly. We can go to the front. We can go to the back side of the loop. Deliver, deliver, deliver. Sometimes we deliver forever and never really understand who we are building such stuff for, right? So that's the trick here, is to always reflect and decide, are we going also back to the front? And I'm now doing the following just to indicate here, if you can help me coloring those Post-its in the front. Blue, sorry, blue is the right color. Just to indicate that these are in the discovery part of the loop, looking at the why and how, at the why and who. Who are we designing stuff for? Why are we doing it? If you could help me now recolor them. Blue, the ones in the left. I'll bring you there. Recolor the ones on the left to be blue, just for the visual appeal, for more clarity. When we zoom out, we see they are blue. Okay? Color them blue. Awesome. You get the idea. You know how it works? Just click on the Post-it and change the color next to the size, next to the word size. You can click on blue, for example. Okay. And then we have also orange. What does orange stand for? Orange is, let's zoom out and look at the loop. Orange is for, we have some new joiner. Orange is for the options, okay? You see it here? Orange is for the options. So this is about deciding and getting more options. What can we do? I'm going back to the middle. So everything here should become orange because those are the options we have, and generating new options and deciding. Makes sense? Is it like a fun game? Okay, and what's the color for the right side of the loop? What's the color for the right side of the loop? I'm also adding the link again because we have a new joiner.
It's kind of green. It's kind of green.
Yeah, it's kind of green, exactly. Help me do it green, and then we basically are there. So we make everything green just to see it from the far up, that we are creating now an awesome Mobius loop. Some kind of green, doesn't really matter. It can look like a rainforest. You can use different sorts of green just for the fun of it. This is how I'm adding fun to my work. Just playing also with colors. Has anyone heard from Joe Justice? Joe Justice? I think he's from Seattle. Anyone? So he coined the term permission to play. So even as a trainer, as a worker, you are allowed to play. Alrighty. Good. So let's now zoom out. Let's zoom out and look at it. I'm bringing you to me. All right, so now we went through the loop. How did it feel to apply the loop? Was it simple?
It's quite simple.
Quite simple. Did you need an agile framework like Scrum or Kanban for it? Not really, right? You basically just applied
I don't know Scrum actually, but
okay.
yeah, we just started out with this, and it's okay. Kind of easy to go for this one.
Yeah. So welcome everyone who just joined. Hi, Chidi, and what's the other joiner? What's your name? You're on mute. That's my favorite word.
Okay, my name is Kachi.
Kachi, welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, I did this. This is last year's creation. Is you are on mute. That's part of the fun at work and just permission to play. So just to catch up for you, you just entered. We co-created an exercise. We had this loop, which was hand-drawn using an iPad. And a few of us, we just added Post-its. And the stuff on the left is about understanding the why and who are we building something for, what are their needs, so discovery. The middle is about options and what can we do to help and to find out what they need really to figure out. And the right is about delivering solutions and having ideas about what may solve the problem. And because we don't know for sure in a complex world, we go again and again through this loop. We can also go learn more on the left side, discovering more what they really need. So finding out the North Star. We can also just continue to work on the options and deliver more and more and learn more and measure. What do we measure? Well, we defined target outcomes. So we have some ideas of what we want to measure while we're delivering incrementally a solution. And in the middle, and for those of you who haven't used Scrum and Kanban, for example, in the middle, this will be our backlog. the list of things that we could consider the guesses, and we are prioritizing by value. So we start with those options that are most promising, most valuable to us. Any questions so far? Achieving outcomes for impact by actually sensing and co-creating what people really need. Okay, if this was good and fun for you, let's just do a little bit of shameless plug, and then I will show you how I ran my training experiments.
Okay, sorry, what's this tool on the whiteboard called?
This tool is called Miro. The one I'm screen sharing, you see it here on the upper left, Miro. And in chat, you should see a link. I can just repeat to enter the Miro board because there's a password. Guess what the password is? CANADA, and it has a dot and a dot. So, and it actually complies with my t-shirt. This is what I got when Canada got 150 years old. I did a camper van holiday in Toronto. Okay, so I went up to Parry Sound, Algonquin Park, and Ottawa. Cool. That's just a private part of all my journeys. And yeah, is it clear now? The tool we're using is called Miro. The method we're using is Mobius loop. It's called Mobius loop, like an infinite loop, okay? And it guides us, the navigator, the infinite navigator, it guides us through the journey of discovering the best solution. You don't need an Agile framework like Scrum or Kanban, but you can use it to complement those Agile frameworks. So a shameless plug is the following. We actually have, I'm also a Mobius coach. We have some resources. You can go on this board. I will keep it up. You can click on it later. So anytime you see something like this, so you can click here and you should get a pointer. Let me just see if it works. No, maybe I have to actually unlock it. So you can then, let me just lock it individually. Yes, now you can click here and then you will get to the page and then you see the rest. So I will do the following. You can try it yourself. I will just lock the individual boxes so you can then follow that link. There is coaches, there's videos, there's training you can get, and I'll give you a voucher for a rebate if you like to do it. It's not meant as a shameless plug to sell stuff, but just because you may be interested. Here, this is also interesting. I think you can actually step through some resources and finding out more about what's there. So there's some canvases, some stuff you can print out and then use it, do it on paper, okay, on a real desk. And yeah, and there's trigger cards, right? If you really want to get inspired what to do on the different steps of the navigator, you can purchase this deck of cards by Gabrielle Benefield, who invented this. She's from New Zealand. She invented this Mobius loop, Gabrielle Benefield. And just to show you an example, when I'm doing the sales pitch, everyone is leaving. No, I'm just kidding. So this is here. This is the way to order it. Pack a deck of cards. And I think there's Apple Pay. So if you have configured on your machine, you can use Apple Pay. That's it for the plugin. If you also want to attend other meetups, right, just go for our Berlin meetup, which is now worldwide. The next sessions we're having is exactly Mobius. So this is on 13th of April by Gabrielle Benefield, who invented the loop. She will be presenting with a guy from Florida, Curtis Michelson. And they are both coming to Berlin for our business agility meetup, connecting strategy to continuous flow of value. And then we also have other events, Clubhouse with Dom. So Clubhouse in a meetup. It will be audio from the Clubhouse site, but on stage on our meetup. So I'm bringing in other people who have no Clubhouse account. And Dom from Thailand will give us a talk on hard skills, Agile hard skills. So, And this is brand new. I set it up last night. Esther Darby, a coaching guru from Minnesota, she will come to talk about leaders on all levels, recalibration of what leadership looks like. I can definitely recommend going here. It basically indicates listen to your staff. Okay. All right. So let's go for my journey. This is what I promised you, right? Okay, cool. So let's start here. Let's start on this yellow and whitish Post-its. So I think yellow and white are the first few cohorts and experiments I started. We explore new ways of learning during a pandemic. Why do we do it? Well, maybe we also want to reduce carbon footprint, less travel. Okay, that could be a good motivator, right? We have to rent less venues or conference rooms for training. Okay, then we observed, what do people really need? In climate crisis, when the planet is dying due to burnt fossils, the tutor wants to provide a low CO2 footprint so we can continue to learn together. Or because of COVID, we want to learn together in times of physical distancing. The tutor wants to provide great learning experience online so that we can continue to deliver classes. Make sense? Cool. What's the outcome for the planet? We save several tons of CO2 per quarter. For the learner, they stay fit. Sounds familiar? That was actually one of your answers. And they get certified, for example, in Scrum. And the trainer outcome, like me, Thoralf, I can run Scrum Master and Product Owner training online. How awesome is that? That's actually a trademarked sentence, I remember, MCI. No? Is this a great time or what? That was the sentence. Anyway, so I decided, what are my options? Well, I can choose some video conferencing tools. I can start with WebEx. I can decide on a collaboration tool called Mural. Anyone used Mural before? Yeah, exactly. I can use gamification to make it fun, right? Okay, like estimating fruits and vegetables in size or complexity. And then I can run certain experiments. I can do a roles and responsibilities game interactively. What are the roles and responsibilities of a product owner, of a Scrum team, a developer team? What are the roles and responsibilities of a Scrum Master? And then I'd let people find out themselves. So they start sorting Post-its, and then I help them find the right solution. We can do breakout sessions, individual breakout sessions. Let's try it. Some tools cannot support it. WebEx had lots of issues with breakout rooms. Then we deliver cohorts 1 and 2. This was in springtime in May when I started running those first trainings. And you see here also later 3 and 5. I actually continued doing this until first quarter of this year, adding stuff anytime. We did a continuous retrospective every hour to learn fast, get feedback. I found that Mural was limited to 10 users. Beyond, the performance was really growing down dramatically with highly interactive games. So I had a need to switch to another tool. The trainer ratings went up. I got better ratings. So something was good. Something was awesome in this unexpectedly, that even though people couldn't do online physical classroom classes. 90% get the certification. That's also a measurement. And then further improvement on the training, more team building exercises. So I used the MiWi game from Thailand, from Dham. And then also the PO training, product owner training improved. WebEx had no breakout rooms, or it was really awkward, cumbersome to host this, to facilitate. I needed more games on lean thinking and Toyota, etc. So I just found out I had to improve the curriculum. And it's possible. Yes, we were able to run online trainings. Cool. And Miro had the Trello effect. So I actually started using Miro. Do you know Trello, the Trello Kanban board? Yeah, for organizing your work. Miro was the Trello style tool for me, easy to operate. I don't need an administrator, etc. And Zoom breakout sessions were just awesome. So the experience for both participants and the trainer was really awesome. And that's why you also use Zoom, I guess, right? And so I tried to use Miro instead and use Zoom. And I paid a license for Zoom and Miro because I didn't have it accessible in IBM. And then we continued and improved again and again. And I also later added more stuff. So I found that Mobius could be in the future guiding me through this training. So I used Mobius to navigate my training. I actually constructed the whole Scrum training around this canvas. So the content of a Scrum training organized around the Mobius loop. This is something I added later. That's why I have these different colors and they are on the outside. Okay, good. More innovation capabilities using Mobius to also innovate better to Scrum. And last but not least, I decided to also contribute to the Mobius training, not just Scrum training. I was sure that I now could also run Mobius coaching and Mobius trainings and use it like now, okay? And what I recently added after having 2 Minnesota joining for my meetup, which I showed earlier, they actually joined beginning of this week. And yesterday I announced that my new Scrum training, my Scrum Master training, so for Scrum coaches, will contain the Best Self Manifesto, values and principles. So now people will actually take care of themselves. Agile coaches, Scrum Masters, are you one of many Scrum Masters or Agile coaches? We sometimes tend to burn out because we care too much about other people. We also have to consider that we have sustainable pace. So applying these Agile Best Self principles and values to ourselves and bake it into the training. So I'm actually going for this now, that why and who? Well, this is also for the trainer to become a better trainer and become a better Scrum Master. I want to be a sustainable way of working, achieve it for myself. So I'm enriching my classes in this new dimension. Does it make sense for you? We ran out of the time box a little bit, but hopefully this was good to see how I used. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is fantastic. And I can see myself using it, not just deciding how to pivot my training to online, but any decision making that needs to be done. You just have to know the why, observe, and kind of like the PDCA loop.
Yeah.
But more comprehensive is what I'm seeing here.
Yeah. And it's called actually double loop learning.
You're
not just focusing on delivering like crazy and becoming faster. It's also about understanding are you delivering the right stuff. So instead of saying build, measure, learn and PDCA, which is just one loop, you always have showing visually the second loop, which says, am I really doing the right thing? Are we saving our planet? Or are we just getting more money, right?
That's right.
So those things, going to the real reason and purpose, going behind this. You see the common share alike, whatever, Creative Commons attribution here. So designed by Gabriel Benefield, of course, showing that I showed you where to get this canvas for free to use it. I can share it also on Miro if you like. You can copy paste it into your own board. And there's a few resources that you can access. I will keep this Miro board open. I can even export it to PDF if you like and send it to you so you can share with your community. Any other thoughts, insights? People are leaving, we're over time. Cool.
after lunch here. So thank you so much, Sarah. This has been wonderful. And I'm going to share the link to the video recording. And if you could share that document as well, the links to those common creative one. I think this is fantastic. I haven't seen it done this way, the double loop. I only know of the PDCA. So thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Welcome. And thanks again to Mamoun, and have a great day.
Yes. And when he was like, Taraf is going to talk about Mobius, I thought, okay, what is that? Now I know what it is.
So tell me just one more thing. Is your community focused on Toronto and Ontario, or is it all over Canada?
It is all over, and we have people joining from Nigeria. We have people joining from the UK. Today just happens to be different. So it's always people from different countries and continents.
I have also participants, learners from Nigeria in particular. Cool. Again, thanks for having me, and have a wonderful day. Stay safe
and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Take your vaccines. Cheers.
Yeah. Bye-bye.